This is just like a funny story. Anyone who knows me knows I'm like the goof off. I find life really hard, and everyone has to find a way to deal with it, right? Some people hit, some people drink, some people do drugs. I like to goof off, and I mean like a lot. Being the poster child for ADD, I can say that I get bored just about every minute that I'm alive, right? I can't help it. I mean, the world is just so dull compared to my imagination. And I just go in there all the time. I mean, what better way to avoid boredom than to just goof off and just think up weird shit? One of the first things you should do if you're afraid of something is make fun of it, because you can totally disarm whatever it is if you just laugh at it. It's one of the best gifts that we were given, and it separates us from the animals. I enjoy toilet humor, which is contrary to my IQ. I know it's stupid, it's base, but I can't help but laugh when somebody tells a poop joke. I enjoy a funny turn of phrase too, and one of my favorites is, you shut your mouth when you're talking to me. Shit like that. Funny things happen to me on an hourly basis, and it helps that I greatly encourage any fucking of the dog. Not that I don't take my work seriously or I don't work hard, it's just I do, but it just means I gotta fuck the dog extra hard to get it out of my system. One of my funny stories I have is I was training at Minix for the second time. It's his call center. I went to ask Randy a question, right? And he's just Captain Straight Laces. Like, he's very serious all the time, just doesn't like to laugh at us and get us going. Like, even if we say something that's really funny, he'll just kind of just, tighten up because he doesn't want to laugh. So I got his attention, and I was put my hand up to ask a question, but before I say anything, I did the Sharon Stone, like, basic instinct leg cross. Like, my legs were crossed like this, and I went, yeah, I know, it's pretty funny. So he thought that was funny. Another time I happened to say the word crotch, and Randy said that you can't say that out on the floor, right? That's a bad word. And then I said, well, what if my crotch is on fire? I don't know how your crotch would catch on fire in a call center, but it's pretty funny. Anyway, I had one other little thing. During training, we did these, it's like these little tests to get you used to the tools that they use. There's like 8 tools, and they're really stupid. There was like 4 of them. I didn't even know what they were for. We just had to open them anyway. Anyway, we had this one called eSource, which is to look up anything in the database. Like if an RCMP calls in, you have to type in RCMP, and it'll pull up all the information you have on them, or something like that, right? And we did these little eSource training things all the time. They give us a test and go look it up. It's pointless busy work. And there were questions during training that no one ever figured out the answer to, which was that RCMP one, and there was a couple more, and no one knew. Even the trainer didn't really know. So we went on half trained, really, on the floor. And at the end of the class, basically, he took those training things, throw them out at the end of each day. They were useless. He didn't even look at them, right? Like, it was just pointless busy work. So we actually get on the floor and start doing our jobs, and the job is really stressful, really boring, and really dry. There's so many technicalities to know, like when your billing period ends, when it starts, when you bought something, when is interest accrued, when do we send out all this other... It's so complicated, so needlessly complicated. It's just trying to explain something to somebody, why am I getting interest now? And you're just like... Anyway, one day the phones go down, and we're just like, woohoo, a couple minutes to ourselves where we can actually sit and relax. Because the days there are they go by very fast, even though they're very stressful and boring. So at least they did go by fast. But anyway, we're like, minute to relax. And they're like, no, you should be looking up things in eSource. I'm like, oh, eSource is so boring. I don't learn that way. I don't learn by, here's a book, read it. I learn by, actually doing it on the job, like having to actually go look, do research, that type of thing. Because then I need it, right? If I don't need it, I'm not going to remember it. So anyway, she comes around with the eSource test, and I'm like, we did these 100 times, no one ever read them, and it was even the same one we did in class. So I didn't have a pen, so I got out a big fat grease marker, those big messy ones, and I wrote with my left hand because I didn't care. No one, give a shit about it. And when I got to that stupid RCMP one, what do you do if an RCMP calls? What information can you give them? I couldn't find the answer. I was like, okay, I'm going to give it an honest effort, and I'm going to try. And I was like, RCMP, nothing. I was like, police officer, nothing. I was like, legal, nothing. It was just nothing, because eSource is a piece of crap. So I get irritated, and I put the answer that I thought best fit, which is the most retarded thing I can think of, which is 2 dogs fighting. Because anytime you don't know the answer to something, you can just say 2 dogs fighting. It just calls up this funny little picture of 2 dogs just biting each other. That's it. So we hand them in, and I'm expecting they're not even going to hit her hand before they're already in the trash. But actually somebody did read them, and I got fired. They brought me in and said, what's this? Did you write this? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, well, we have some red flags on you already, which they didn't, which my attendance supposedly was a problem, but it actually wasn't. I was explaining, okay, we're on your side about this. We understand people get sick once in a while. And it wasn't that bad. And then they said, then there's that, and there's this little incident. So we're going to let you go. And I'm like, I don't really care. Like, big deal. If you want to let me go for having a little fun, then, what do I need this job for? So anyway, 2 dogs fighting. Share it. It's great.